Good morning. It's 10 after 4 right now. 4 after 10, excuse me. We have a very special in-studio guest on WAEGE on the line today, so we're going to start a little bit early because we're a little bit pushed for time. But he's going to be here to answer your phone calls. It's one and only Tiny Tim who's in town today at 4:30 and 7:30 at the West Park Hotel and Golf Club right here in Leesbrug with Alan C. Hill's Great American Circus. We got tickets to give away a little bit later, so keep on listening. This is a phone-in talk show, so if you have a question for Tiny, please give us a call. The number is 777-9243, 777-2810, and from the Washington, D.C. metro area, the phone number is 478-1864. Good morning, Tiny.
Good morning, Mr. Beery. It's nice talking to you, and pleasure being on your show, and thanks for your hospitality. And also here, as you said, with the Great American Circus, 4:30 and 7:30, West Park Hotel and Golf Club. It says here, 59 Clubhouse Drive, Southwest in Leesburg, sponsored by the Good News Foundation.
You can't beat that, huh?
I'm also here with Miss Terry Diedrich, great tour manager.
Hi, Terry.
And driver.
Okay, and she drove you here, huh? Last night you mentioned you drove from West Virginia. I guess the circus goes every single day, is that right?
This morning, we started at about 6:45. From March 2nd to November 7th, every day of the year, a new town, no days off except for Easter. Sometimes we play in a place once or twice, but over 250 towns, more than 600 performances.
Now, this is your second year with this circus, right?
A second year, Mr. Hill Circus, and also it's been wonderful. These kids are 2 to 5 years old. They don't know who I am, but I tell you, they are the record buyers of tomorrow.
Oh, great.
And if, Lowell if he goes, all right, you got another hit record, it'll be good for another 20 years like
Well,
Tipper
that's fantastic. Now, let's go ahead and talk a little bit about your background. You have a fascinating background in history. A lot of folks think, I was talking to someone on Friday, thought that you wrote the song Tiptoe Through the Tulips.
I wish I did, but it was written by Al Dubin and Joe Burke, two great writers of the 20s and 30s. It came from the motion picture The Gold Diggers of Broadway, 1929, starring Nick Lucas, and I just found this out, I'm no authority, I just found out it was number one on February 18th, 1930, and for the 2 weeks after that in this whole country.
Fantastic. Now, your version of that song, how high did it go?
That hit 17 in 68, and the album hit 7.
Wow. So God Bless Tiny Tim went number 7 in 68.
That's right.
And you were, apparently, I was reading a little bit of background on you. You're from New York City originally.
Good old Manhattan Isle.
Do you still live there?
Yep.
Okay. And you were in a club, I guess, doing some folk singing, or a folk club. Is that what? Tell me a little bit how that started.
When I was discovered?
Yes.
I was singing in Steve Paul's Scene in 1967 when 3 people came down. One was Mo Austin, who's now the chairman of the board of Warner Brothers. That time he was the vice president of Reprise. The other was Stan Cornan, the linear, he writes the lines for the albums. And the third was Ed Thrasher, who was married to Linda Gray when she was 20 years old.
Wow. Okay, so they come down, they see you, of course, and they say, hey, let's make a record.
That's right, but Peter Yarrow of Peter, Paul, and Mary tipped them to come down and see me.
They tipped them to come down and tiptoe and see you. Okay. Now, you've been singing for numerous years. I guess you said you started in the 50s?
Oh, I sang in the 40s, but as far as going to talent nights, it started in 1950.
Now, your music is from what era?
Well, basically, anything that's top 10, but really it goes back to the 1800s to about 1950, and also, although I keep in time with today's music, I'm studying 2 Bon Jovi numbers.
Oh, you're great.
You Give Love a Bad Name and Living on a Prayer. But most of these numbers go back in the Edison days and the early electric from the days of Billy Murray, Irving Kaufman, the great Edison stars, Byron G. Harlan, and later on to Jolson, Crosby, Valley, whatever.
Wow. So you're basically an authority on those old ones, I would imagine.
Learning all the time. The authorities are the ones who collect it. I know with the Great American Circus, we're going to Vinton, Virginia shortly next week, and the greatest authority on this, the man who never gets a mention but really knows more, he's a little ailing now, must be in his 70s, is Jim Walsh, who happens to have written about all this, where I got some information from, much information for Hobbies magazine.
Oh, wow. Okay, and also you're writing a way to get this book that has the top 10 songs from.
Yeah, I'm looking for a book. I found it in a station called "I've Heard That Song Before," by Elton Brooks, which lists. That's where I found out, that "Tiptoe Through the Tulips" was number 1 on February 18th in 1930. Plus, "Happy Days Are Here Again" hit the charts for 10 weeks after that.
Wow!
I mean, it gives every top 10 record up to 1979.
Fantastic. Now, a lot of people ask, they wonder if you're for real, I guess. If we can say that. They say, you dress funny, I guess. People look at you, you look funny. You got a funny name. Tiny Tim is obviously a funny name. How did that all come about?
Well, that was the biggest question they asked me in 68 and 69. And all I can say is that, if I said I am, they won't believe me. If I say I know, they won't believe me. Well, you can just ask the wives who I've been with. Everything I do, I do behind closed doors. However, I do thank Jesus Christ for all his blessings, because in the 40s I was getting nowhere, and the 50s rolled along, and I prayed about it, and one day I woke up and I found a high voice and the idea to change the hair and the makeup. So you're talking to really the original white face makeup, long-haired singer from the 50s. They all copied from Boy George to the Kiss group to Alice Cooper, whatever it was afterwards.
You were the one.
Back in the 50s, I'll tell you, it was some period of time to do this then.
That was your idea?
It's a feeling I felt to create something different.
Okay. So the guy is for real, okay? Ladies and gentlemen, give Tiny Tim a call. The number is 777-9243 if you have a question. And go ahead. I said I do sing for about 10 minutes with Miss Wilma Wrench and a Great American Circus Orchestra, and then sign autographs in the intermission. That's great.
So maybe I can do a number or so.
Sure.
One of the great songs I do in the circus.
Would you like to now?
I'd love to.
We'd love to hear it.
Thank you. There's a gold mine in the sky far away. We will find it, you and I, some sweet day. And we'll settle back and watch the world go by when we find that long-lost gold mine in the sky. Far away, far away, we will find that long-lost gold mine some sweet day. And we'll settle back and watch the world go by when we find that long-lost gold mine in the sky.
Fantastic. That's great. Now a lot of it's hard to get your recordings.
Sure
now,
is.
We went out looking when we heard you were coming, and I'll be honest with you. I'm not trying to kid you. I saw you when you did Do You Think I'm Sexy on Johnny Carson, right? I believe that was the show that you were on.
God bless him. I tell you, you're one of the few. That was 79.
Well, see
September.
that. Okay, now I guess I'm a few years younger than you, so I wasn't around in the late 60s when you were really big, but I have seen the reruns of Laughing because they're in syndication now. But when I first saw that, I went, what is this? This is fantastic.
Thanks.
And you were just really neat. You really got me.
I'll tell you a story about that one. Doc Stevenson and the whole band went crazy, and the same with the audience. But after I got off that song, Mr. Cordova looked at me, gave me a strange look.
The producer.
Yeah, and I've never been on the show since that time.
Oh, you're kidding.
No, David Letterman, I think, was one of the guests, and he hasn't had me on. Well, I'm not complaining. I'm just saying that song got a lot of good response, even in letters, but it was too wild for that show.
I would have loved to seen a single out on that.
I have a single.
Oh, you put a single?
It was done in Florida in 1982. The producer there was Gary Lawrence, a genius of a man. He was about 25 years old, and however, the sound on the Carson show was more contemporary. The sound on the record was with a 1920 Charleston orchestra, a real great arrangement, taking the song back to the 20s.
Wow.
Just a snip. If you don't mind, on the Carson show, it sounded like this. If you want my body and you think I'm sexy, come on, baby, let me know. Now, on the record, it's on. If you want my butter and you think the Jolson sound, come on, honey, let me know. So there were two different versions, and the record, has the Jolson sound in the 20 type of orchestra.
Well, now that song, you did it, and of course Rod Stewart heard it and then made it a hit, right?
No,
is that how it worked?
No,
okay.
No, the other way.
I think we have a phone call, I believe. Hello there.
Hi, how you doing?
You're talking to Tiny Tim.
Hi.
Go ahead.
Hi, how you doing?
How you been?
Go ahead with your question.
Hi, how you doing?
Okay, how you been?
Do you have a question?
I can't seem to get on the line.
Do you have a question?
Yes.
Okay.
Finally, you got me.
Yes, go ahead.
How you doing?
Fine.
Okay,
This is
so-
Donna Jackson.
Hi, Donna.
Hi.
Hi.
Tiny Tim sounds like he's gotten better. He's improved with age.
Oh, well, thanks a million.
Do you have a question?
Tiny Tim sounds like he's gotten better. He's
Okay.
improved with age.
Okay, obviously you can't. Is your radio turned on?
Hold on.
Okay, well hold on a second.
Hey, you turn the radio.
Okay, we'll come back to her, Donna, in just 1 second. Okay, and let's see. Your original name is obviously not Tiny Tim,
Herbert Buckingham Corey.
and you were born right there in New York City.
In the heart of good old Manhattan.
And your first marriage was also on Johnny Carson.
Right to Miss Vicky on December 17th, 1969. Also, that still holds the biggest viewing audience, over 40 million people. Maybe reruns of MASH or the Queen's Wedding of the Moonshot might beat that, but as far as normal every night television, and two encyclopedias, the World Book and the Comptons from 1970, wrote about that. It was seen by satellite in Australia.
Wow. Now that marriage didn't last.
No, like so many today, it ended, I think, before it started. But she left me in 74, and she got her divorce in 77. However, it was a great moment.
Yeah, it was. Like you say, it was seen all over. And you have a daughter?
Miss Tulip, she is, right now, she's 16 years old. I am an illegitimate grandfather. But the fact is that, she doesn't want to talk to me, so she knows where I am. The mother doesn't want her, so she's fending for herself somewhere in New Jersey.
So how old is she now?
She's 16.
She's 16. You haven't seen her?
I haven't seen her since, I think, July of 86.
Wow. Okay, so it's been a few years on that. Okay, and you've been traveling for 2 years now.
Was it Great American Circus?
Yeah.
Here, in 85 and 87. And also I have a movie coming out next year, my first full-length movie called The Blood Harvest. Blood Harvest, where I play an insane clown. The movie was directed by Bill Rebane last year, one of the great Paramount directors who made a $20 million smash in the 70s with the movie The Invasion of the Giant Spiders.
Okay.
And The Alpha Incident. This is really a scary movie, restricted and not for those with weak hearts. The only reason that it's not out this year is because there's a big legal battle for distribution rights between England and Mr. Rebane at this moment.
Okay.
But he did say, if it's okay with you, that anyone who wants to know more about the picture can call 715-873-4111, and he'll gladly tell you about it. But this is the best thing that's happened. Or I might also state that in the circus today, other great acts like Roberto Torres, who drinks tequila on the high wire.
Oh, gosh.
Billy Martin, the great ringmaster, is there. Dick Holrise, America's favorite dog catcher. Bobby Fairchild throwing knives at his wife. And three great clowns, Chico the Clown, Lucky the Wonderful Midget Clown, and Happy Harry.
Okay. Well, let me see if we have anybody on the line here now, okay? Hello, WAGE Radio. You're on the line. Okay, we're having a little bit of trouble with our phone lines. Okay, from 1971 was the last time you were on a record label.
Right, reprise.
What has happened? You sort of faded a little bit.
Yeah, nice.
If you can refresh everybody's memory on what's happened from 71 till about 2 years ago, I guess, when you joined up with the Great American Circus. I guess there's a gap in there.
There sure is. I said, and it was very nice. And a little bit is putting it mild. In 1970, a year before that even, I knew I had to start my career all over again. Even when I was on top in 68 and 69, I just had to learn the trade over again. I didn't know how to sing with a band. I sung with ukulele for years. It came so fast. So not only spiritual training, but also I've had baseball training, how they pick themselves up and start again. And so definitely I had to go back to the minor leagues. And from all those 70 years, it was club work, 7 times in Australia, New Zealand, went to Italy, sang in France and England and the Philippines, many clubs in New York, malls, parties, whatever you have. In fact, in 1970, while I was on the way down, I sang in a Continental bathhouse in New York where they were wrapped in Turkish towels, and the opening act was Barry Manilow.
You're kidding.
At that time. And then I didn't even know this, but before I made it in 67, I sang in a club, and Billy Joel was the opening act. And he told me, don't you remember that, when he had the Grammy night in 81. So, but the 70s was filled with trying to make it again.
Okay, now, I recall, I saw you on the television show Panorama last year. You were playing in Manassas. You came in and talked on Panorama at 12 News at noon. And I was hoping to get down there. I didn't get a chance, and I'm really thankful that you're here now to talk to us finally. Now, you said you were with a couple other stars doing like a cabaret type show in the early 80s?
I gave Helen Reddy her first big break.
Oh, yeah.
In 1970, I put her on the bill with me when I still played Vegas at the Fremont, and I gave Paul Williams his first big break back in 1968 when I took Tiptoe Through the Tulips. As far as other stars I've met along the way, but I can't remember who they were.
Okay, but you've been traveling in those.
Oh.
Do you find that you mentioned Australia twice now? Do you find that you're more popular in other countries?
No, I don't know if I'm more popular, but I know I've been to Australia 8 times. It's almost a second country there.
Really?
I have a movie also supposed to come out from there called Street of Dreams.
You're doing a lot.
Well, you have to keep hustling in this business.
Like, okay, you do this 8.5 month tour, and I would just say that you take a break, you just take a vacation, but I guess not on those other couple months.
Well, no vacations. I too much thinking. I have to move and move and move and move. Just trying to get back to the top one more time.
Okay, well, great. So you got a lot of movies in the works, and you got you got the traveling right now, and I know it's tiring. I'm sure it is.
Well, but as long as I can keep working and doing it, there are many people out of work, and I'm just grateful it pays the bills and the government.
Okay. How did you get interested in the ukulele and the music playing? Was this from your parents, or? That's
a great question, Mr. Barry. I tell you, Arthur Godfrey.
He's from right here, as a matter of fact.
I didn't even know that.
From Loudoun County. There's a airfield over here called Godfrey Airfield.
Wow.
And I think his wife is still alive, and she lives in the county.
Well, God bless her. I tell you, I tell you, the good Lord works in a strange way. Thank God the Christ for everything. But the fact is, Mr. Godfrey, I tell you, I remember him in 1940 when he replaced Charlie Stark in the morning show on CBS Radio.
Right.
And Rudy Valley, may he rest in peace, when I went to his house in 1968, probably the first swooner crooner on the radio, wrote Mr. Godfrey a letter when he was in Washington in 1934, predicting he'd become a big star. And he was right, because in 1940, he was one of the greatest voices of radio. Then he had his early TV show, the Johnny Carson format, before anyone, in the early morning in 1950, from 10 to 11 on CBS. And he was one of the first, where you had to wait 6 months to get a ticket. And so he played the ukulele, and I found it was a great instrument. He brought back the ukulele to go to auditions with, and instead of having a piano player play. He brought back the ukulele after Cliff Edwards' Ukulele Ike was the most popular player and singer in his day in the early 20s.
Now, I think I saw Ukulele Ike once on like the Mickey Mouse show.
That's right.
How about that?
That's absolutely right. That was his last days. His greatest years were in the 20s. He was the one who sang Singing in the Rain first in 1929. And then he had a lull, with the stock market crash and everything. He came back. He was Jiminy Cricket.
Oh, he was the Jiminy Cricket voice?
Yeah, and he also, I believe he sang When You Wish Upon a Star, and then he came back again for the Mickey Mouse in the 50s. His last, that's right. It's very good.
Now, there are a lot of songs out there, and like you say, you're trying to learn all the ones from the 1800s all the way to the 80s. What is one of your favorites that you like playing?
Well, this one here goes back to 46. It was a big hit in 1946 when the movie called The Dolly Sisters. There's so many favorites. I'll go do you a snippet of that one.
Okay, great.
It was the number one hit at that time. I can't begin to tell you how much you mean to me. My world will end if ever we were through. If ever we were through, I can't begin to tell you how happy I would be if I could speak my mind like others do. I make such pretty speeches whenever we're apart. But when you're near, the words I choose refuse to leave my heart. So take the sweetest phrases the world has ever known and make believe I've said them all to you.
Oh, great. Do you ever feel, with just hearing that, it just brings back the real sound of the 40s and the 30s. Do you ever feel like you're in the wrong time right now?
No, I believe this is the right time because if the fact that I'm here now, it could bring back these great names of the early years. You know, I think we live in the greatest times right now. You have air conditioning and refrigerators, no ice boxes. I remember they had the ice boxes in the 30s. Yeah. The ice when you come up the stairs. You know, we live in the greatest times.
I think we have one more phone call. Let's see what we got here. Hello, you're on the line with Tiny Tim. Hello there. Hello, you're on the line.
Yes, I have a question for Tiny Tim.
Okay, go ahead and ask your question and listen to your radio.
I want to know, how long has he been featuring in carnivals?
Oh, in the Great American Circus? I was there since '84.
Did you get that, Donna?
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't hear what he said, but
he's been there since 1984.
Okay. And I want to ask one more question. Is there going to be elephant rides tonight?
Absolutely.
The answer to that is yes.
Oh, great.
Okay, thanks a lot for calling.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll see you later today.
Tim Frisco and his Great Elephants.
Great Elephant Show. And I'm going to be out there riding an elephant, I think, this afternoon.
Oh, well, make sure Mr. Frisco's there.
Okay, so I don't fall off. When I was, I toured with Ringling for 2 years, and I rode an elephant. That was fun. I really had a good time.
What'd you do with that?
I was a clown.
Oh.
From what I think it was 82 to 84. So we had a good time, which is kind of remarkable. I was telling Terry earlier that I'm really just fascinated by what you all do, you know. But it was just so tiring for me. I can't emphasize enough. I had to get out of it. But
well, I tell you, it's okay if I can do a short number for clowns.
Oh yeah.
There was a great song sung by Harry Richmond in 1927. Even though you're only make-believing, laugh, clown, laugh. Even though something inside is grieving, laugh, clown, laugh. Don't let your heart grow too mellow. Just be a real punchinello. Fellow, you're supposed to brighten up a place and laugh, clown, laugh. Paint a lot of smiles around your face and laugh, clown. Don't frown. Just in your Vesta La Juba, be a Pagliaccio, laugh, clown, laugh.
Oh, great. Well, we're about running out of time. I know you have to go down to D.C. and do the Night Watch show with Charlie Rose.
Right.
When is that going to be aired?
I don't know the exact date, but it won't be on tonight.
Okay, we'll have to watch for that. This afternoon, it's Alan C. Hill's Great American Circus at the West Park Hotel right here in Leesburg, Virginia. Casey Ritter and myself are going to be out there at the 4:30 show. There's also a show at 7:30. Come on out and see Tiny Tim live, along with a lot of other great acts with the Great American Circus.
Yeah, I better say they better get out there quick because these shows are always packed. Thousands count.
Yeah, I know you have like 3,200 seats out there. You want to come and see it. Okay, well, thank you very much, Tiny. It's been a super pleasure talking to you today on the radio.
Well, Mr. Nic Beery, thank you. You've been a great host and a good interviewer.
I hope to talk to you soon again.
Thank you, Martha.
Okay, we'll see you this afternoon.
Thank you.